Regarding width and depth, I have a few tricks that I use on a regular basis, which I want to show you now. Let's check out the snare. Nice 909 mono snare. If I would want to create some space or some stereo field enhancement, I would not grab some pseudo stereo widener or maybe not even a reverb. I would try it with a very short delay, as I'm doing now. Adjust my dry wet level to taste. And of course, the delay time. And I still think it's one of the best old school tricks there is for bread and butter widening on the fly. Let's check out what kind of widening tricks I would use on a synth sound. All right, this is a lead or bass sound, however you want to call it, but it doesn't have too much sub information. So in this case, I could use the auto filter and engaging the LFO inside. Find the sweet spot. This is quite low. I could go a bit higher. Maybe raise the resonance a bit to hear it a bit more. Turn up the LFO. This should be quite obvious. And now, play with the phase. Slow it down a bit. And maybe decrease the whole modulation. Let's check it out in bypass. I really love this auto filter effect, especially for lead sounds and for mid-rangey sounds that benefit from this. With bass sounds is cool too, but I'd rather keep the bass as mono as possible, below 100 hertz or whatever. So rather recommendable with middle to high sounds. Okay, let's try out something else. What I've built here is an effect rack with two overdrives. One is on the left and one is on the right. And as you can already guess, they are set up differently left to right. And what this sounds like, you can hear now. The tonal color has changed as well, but in this case, I don't mind. It's more about separating left and right. And the center frequencies of each overdrive is different, and the dry wet as well as the drive. This way of widening a sound is also quite safe because usually you don't have such a problem with the phase. I can demonstrate you this by turning down the width here and sum them to a mono signal. And you don't hear a big difference, which is very good. To exaggerate the whole thing, I will recommend a plugin, again by Melda Production. This is a really nice, solid widener. This will spread the whole thing out even more. And even in this case, if I turn the whole bus to mono, everything's still there. You just hear some side sparkle is gone and the separation, but nothing collapses or disappears, as in an example I will show you in a second. The next plugin I want to show is another Melda Production plugin called the M Frequency Shifter. It's included in the free bundle. I highly recommend downloading it from meldaproduction.com. And what it sounds like, you can check out yourself. Slow down. A gorgeous replacement or substitute for things like a chorus. I didn't want to cover a chorus here, but rather more classic delay tricks and these two recommendations. And the last thing I will try here now is the Haas effect, which is basically two signals, left and right, and one is a bit behind the other one. This sounds like that. Let's adjust the delay time. This makes it really ultra wide, but the danger here is that you lose mono information completely. And I will sum this to mono. And you hear these super short delays right after another from left to right, summed to mono in this case. And you hear very strong phasing issues, if you will. However, on a few sounds on a track, this can be very desirable, and I use it on sounds that don't necessarily need to be in mono and just fill up the spectrum and enhance and bring in some breath into the whole thing. I will give you one short demonstration of what this sounds like if I do it manually without using a delay effect. This is the same group as the one on channel 2, doubled, set to left and right, and I've reduced the output by 3 dB so it level matches with the one we heard before. And I have changed the delay times on one of the channels to 10 milliseconds. Let's play that. I'm going to adjust the delay time on the right channel. The benefit of using the Haas effect manually by duplicating a channel or routing one to another channel and setting the delay times manually instead of using a delay unit is I can now process the channel separately, which will give me more possibilities from the creative point of view and also from the technical point of view.